Attractions and things to do in Athens. A symbol of Western civilization, at its most magnificent, Athens' illustrious history stretches back more than 3,000 years. The city flourished during classical antiquity and was the birthplace of Socrates, Pericles, and Sophocles. More than just a relic of its glorious past, today Athens is a bustling and modern capital city and home to some of the country's most important tourist attractions. The Acropolis is one of the world's most breathtaking ancient ruins, and the city's exceptional museums display fascinating artifacts uncovered at local sites. Other hidden charms awaiting discovery are the dazzling Byzantine churches found all over the city, and the village-like neighborhoods north of the Acropolis. When you think you've run out of things to do in Athens, spend some time getting lost in the Plaka district's narrow pedestrian streets, lined with quaint bougainvillea-draped houses and inviting restaurant terraces. A completely different vacation experience from the idyllic Greek islands, Athens can feel hectic and busy during the summer season, but in the spring and fall, you can still enjoy good weather and see far fewer tourists. Number 1. The Acropolis. Few sites in the world compare to Athens' Acropolis, with its Parthenon temple perched high on a rocky crag keeping watch over centuries of civilization. A reminder of the glory of ancient Athens, the Acropolis was the center of the ancient city and functioned as a citadel in its protected hilltop location. The most emblematic building is the Parthenon, the largest temple of the classical antiquity period dating from 447 BC to 338 BC. With its monumental rows of Doric columns and stunning sculptural details, the temple is an awe-inspiring sight. In the frieze on the eastern side, reliefs depict the birth of the goddess Athena. Other ruins of the Acropolis include the Temple of Athena Nike at the entrance, and Erechtheion, a complex of ancient sanctuaries built between 421 BC and 395 BC. The most famous feature of the Erechtheion complex is the Porch of the Caryatids, with 6 statues of maidens in place of Doric columns. For beautiful views of the Acropolis from below, head to the north side of the hill. Street-side restaurants line the pedestrian street of Apostola Pavlou and look up to the Acropolis. Some of these restaurants also have rooftop dining, with incredible views across to the Acropolis, showing the grand entrance, the Temple of Athena Nike, and the Parthenon, all of which are lit up in the evenings. Number 2. Acropolis Museum. Another of Athens' top attractions, the Acropolis Museum contains one of the most valuable collections of ancient Greek art in the world. The new facility was completed in 2007, below the Acropolis hilltop, and replaced the former museum on the hill. This huge facility 25,000 square meters and features 14,000 square meters of exhibition space. The unique layout incorporates an ancient Athenian neighborhood. This is one of the best things to do in Athens when temperatures are soaring at midday. Be aware the entrance queue can be long. Number 3. National Archaeology Museum. Founded in the 19th century, Athens National Archaeological Museum is the largest archaeological museum in Greece and one of the greatest antiquities museums in the world. The museum is housed in an impressive neoclassical building with 8,000 square meters of exhibition space. On display are 5 permanent collections with more than 11,000 exhibits, offering a comprehensive overview of Greek civilization from prehistory through the classical period to late antiquity. The prehistoric collection covers the 6th millennium BC to 1050 BC, the Neolithic, Cycladic, and Mycenaean periods, and presents findings from the prehistoric settlement at Thera. The sculpture collection exhibits ancient Greek sculptures from the 6th century BC to the 5th century BC, including rare masterpieces. The Vase and Decorative Objects collection showcases ancient Greek pottery from the 11th century BC all the way until the classical Roman period. The Stathatos collection features minor objects from a wide range of historical periods. Exquisite little statues and figurines sculpted from metals are on display in the Metallurgy collection. Number 4. The Plaka and Anophytica neighborhoods. Between the northern slopes of the Acropolis and Irma Street, the picturesque Plaka neighborhood is a tourist hotspot. The main attraction of this historic area is its charming village ambience. Narrow pedestrian streets and the cheerful little squares of the Plaka quarter are lined with lovely bougainvillea-trimmed pastel-painted houses, restaurants, and shops. Tucked away in peaceful corners of the neighborhood are historic churches, such as the Metamorphosis Church in the southwest and the Church of Kapnikaria in the north. A leisurely stroll through the picturesque setting is the perfect thing to do when you've had your fill of ruins and museums. The Plaka quarter, along with neighboring Anophytica nestled into the slopes north of the Acropolis, have an abundance of authentic Greek restaurants with inviting terrace seating. The winding medieval streets of Anophytica are also a delight to explore in the evenings. This area is famous for its restaurant staircase on Nicyclius Street. Nearby, quieter streets are hidden away on the hillside, which conceal cute little cafes and restaurants. Number 5. Ancient Agora, ruins of the marketplace. The ancient Agora was the marketplace and the center of everyday life in ancient Athens. For an impressive view of the Agora from afar, head to the north wall of the Acropolis or the roads from the Areopagus. The best place to enter the Agora is at the north gate off Hadrianus Street, near the Church of St. Philip. The Greek word agora means to gather and orate, indicating that this site was a location of public speaking. The Agora was a place of administration and commerce, as well as the meeting place of the Agora II Demo, a civic decision-making group. Athletic events and theater performances were also held here. One of the most striking features of the ancient Agora is the Stoa of Attilos, originally built by King Attilos II and reconstructed in the 1950s. The Stoa may have been the scene of Socrates' trial in 399 BC. Another key site is the awe-inspiring Temple of Hephaestos. You can reach it on a pleasant walk along the footpath that leads up the Agora Hill, Kolonos Adoreos. This 5th century BC Doric temple is one of the best preserved ancient Greek temples, thanks to its conversion into a Christian church, which saved it from destruction. The temple was designed on a classical plan with 6 rows of 13 columns, and the Ionic friezes appear to be modeled on the Parthenon. Number 6. The Roman Agora and Hadrian's Library. Adjacent to the ancient Agora is the site of the Roman Agora. While it may all seem like one site, these buildings were constructed later, and construction eventually moved on to the site of the ancient Agora. One of the easily recognizable sites here is the Tower of the Winds. On the edge of the Roman Agora is the ancient Hadrian's Library, founded by Emperor Hadrian in AD 132. Even later, during Byzantine times, 3 churches were built near the site of the library. You can see one wall of Hadrian's Library and ruins of the Roman Agora from the street, but if you want to explore further, you can buy a ticket and walk through the ruins. Number 7. Museum of Cycladic Art. In the Colonnaded quarter, the Museum of Cycladic Art was created in 1986 by the Nicholas and Dolly Galandris Foundation. The shipowner Nicholas P. Galandris was a well-known patron of the arts and cultural life in Athens. Galandri's own collection forms the core of the museum's exhibits. Housed in a sleek modern building with a facade of marble and glass, the museum's permanent collection includes more than 3,000 objects. The collection represents ancient Greek art of the Cyclades, the islands in the Aegean Sea encircling the island of Delos near Mykonos, and Cypriot art from the island of Cyprus, dating from the 4th century BC to the 6th century AD. Many of the artifacts on display date to the 6th century BC. Temporary exhibits are held at the elegant 19th century Stathatos mansion, accessible from the main building by a passageway from the atrium. Number 8. Olympian, Temple of Olympian Zeus. Dedicated to Zeus, the Temple of Olympian Zeus, also called the Olympian, was the largest temple in ancient Greece. Though the Parthenon is better preserved, the Temple of Olympian Zeus was an even more monumental structure in its day. The temple dates to the 6th century BC, but was not completed until the 2nd century AD by the Emperor Hadrian. In front of the Olympian, not far from the entrance, stands Hadrian's arch at the end of Dionysia Areopagitou. It's easy to imagine the grand impression this temple made in its complete form. More than 100 enormous marble columns once supported the grandiose sanctuary. Only 15 columns remain standing, and another surviving column lies on the ground, but the ruin's monumental presence gives a sense of the massive size of the original building. The gigantic structure was a befitting shrine to Zeus, the ancient Greeks' most all-powerful god, known as the King of Gods. Number 9. Panathenaic Stadium and Olympic Stadium. Ancient Athens' largest building, the Panathenaic Stadium, has a capacity for 60,000 spectators. Constructed around 335 BC during the era of Herodes Atticus, the venue hosted the Panathenaic Games where runners competed in races around the track. The 204-meter-long track was designed with 4 double herms, where runners would turn in the races. Around AD 140, the stadium was updated with new marble seating by Herodes Atticus. The structure that tourists see today is a replica of the original stadium, which was rebuilt for the Olympic Games of 1896. This modern-era Olympic Stadium was created in the identical fashion as the Panathenaic Stadium, with 47 tiers of seating and a rounded southeast end. The facility hosts concerts and other events during the summer. Attending a show can be a nice way to spend an evening in Athens.